Path of Exiles 2, New League, is, well, it's shit. It's complete trash. Most people absolutely hate it. But the good news is, people don't hate the league, people hate the nerfs, because there's a lot of them. And this, I think, is a very pivotal Path of Exile 2's make or breaks moment, okay? This is what historians will look back and say, oh, yes, this was the situation where GGG needed to choose. Will they go the Path of Exile 1 zoom, zoom, zoom route where you finish a map in 10 seconds? Or will they go for slower, more methodical gameplay? Because Path of Exile 2 is supposed to be slower, methodical gameplay. And that means one thing. A thing that I hate, you hate, but is sadly necessary for slow and methodical. And that is nerfs. Yeah. If you want a slow, methodical, not zoomer fest type of game, you need to nerf. In fact, that's the biggest thing you constantly need to do. You need to nerf. And a lot of people are not happy with that because their builds just suddenly become trash. There's some of their builds become unusable. It entails a lot of problems, obviously, but this is something you can't get around, and this is where it's gonna make or break. If the fan reception to this is too negative, GGG might just say, you know what, screw it. Path of Exile 2, Zoomer Fest, remove the dodge, remove the block. We're going zoom zoom. And I would hate for that to happen because if you want that, there's Path of Exile 1 for you. I want a slower, more methodical approach game where I just don't close my eyes, click one button, and in 10 seconds, the map is finished. Which, by the way, actually could sometimes happen if you're playing Flicker Strike. I'm not kidding. Sometimes with correct monster density, the correct maps, you could actually just boop, 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 and in 10 seconds be at the end of the map, because that's just how the game works. Good times. Rare, but, it could happen. Okay, most of the times you kind of end up in the middle of the map, but, small things. And this is big. I wonder which people are going to choose. I know that already some people are probably in the comments with their pitchforks. How dare you Diablo 4 simp! Listen, how dare you? How dare you accuse me of something so vile and horrible being Diablo 4 simp? I would never. Now, Mommy Lilith can put those spikes wherever she wants in me, but I ain't no Diablo 4 simp. How dare you? I hate that game.
Alright, beginning with Path of Exile news, we'll very quickly touch upon PoE 1. With the Frisia event set to end in a couple weeks, I'm seeing more and more players call for an extension. The Ascendancy shakeup has changed the meta so much that there's still a lot for players to explore, even veteran players. And one cool idea I actually saw was to just start stacking more past leagues on top of the existing Frisia event. Just shake things up as the weeks are going by. Add Crucible, add Scourge. Frisia just becomes increasingly insane as things go on with crazier and crazier builds possible. All without...
Triple Lake of Calandra. I am down for it. I like Lake of Calandra. I know, I may be the only person in the world, but I did like Lake of Calandra.
Much effort needed from GGG to develop anything new, just drawing upon old stuff. But on to Path of Exile 2. We got yesterday the launch of Dawn of the Hunt. New league, new class, entirely new meta. Let's start with the good stuff. The new map system now allows you to enter and exit maps as many times as you want. Portals now represent your revives, not your visits to town. And if you die, you're going to respawn at the last checkpoint. No more awkward loading screens or forced hideout.
It's actually crazy that this was a part of the game. And you know why it was? Because, well, in Path of Exile 1, you could use portals multiple times, and it was pretty much never a problem for anyone, almost.
Detours, just get back in there. Great change. This update also dropped 100 new support gems, bringing the total number to nearly 300 support gems. So with this update, we're getting 50% more support gems. Now, when the patch notes themselves dropped, a lot of people were shocked at the extent of the nerfs. We all expected nerfs, of course, but all the top builds...
And again, this is what you should expect in Path of Exile 2's updates. It's buffing skills that no one uses and nerfing the skills that people use. This is what Path of Exile 2 should be like. And I am all for it. I am all for it. I want slower, methodical gameplay. And if a character needs to be deleted because he's trash now because of a nerf, well, shit. It happens. It happens.
Were basically gutted, and there weren't really that many buffs to the lower performing builds, just nerfs that completely killed the pre-patch meta. And for the most part, I think the nerfs were a good move, although I do question some of the nerfs, like making Hex Blast basically unplayable, or killing Flame Blast, or burying Explosive Grenade. But Spark, Stormweaver, Archmage, those are obviously going to be hit. Raging Spirits is another weird one. You now summon 2 spirits instead of 5, which just makes the skill much more annoying to play. Grim Feast was literally removed from the game while they're reworking it. That's fine, it was way too strong. But then the Hellhound lost its ability to tank damage for you, making its only purpose now to, ignite enemies? Meaning it's basically useless now.
Yep.
The drop chance for Breach Rings has been greatly reduced. Ouch. Magic Find was nerfed. That's great, because stacking Magic Find on gear is something a lot of people don't like, and
no one likes it. No one should like it. If there is some kind of stupid stat that you need to get to play the game more efficiently, but it's not damage, not survivability, that stat probably shouldn't exist. And, well, Magic Find is exactly that stat. It's just something you feel obligated to put, otherwise you're just being inefficient in whatever the hell you're doing. And that's a bad thing.
And, a lot of us will be completely fine with having it removed from the game entirely. Maybe keep Magic Find in the, on maps or in the Atlas tree, but, get it off itemization. Oh, and they buffed crossbows. Ultimately, the meta is completely different now, and that's great. Did you really want to play the same meta where everyone...
You know what I'm wondering here currently? How much this will affect last Epoch's launch? Because, it's literally right here, here around the corner. It's in what? When was it? 2 days or something? I don't know. Anyway, the fact that Path of Exile still couldn't new league, new whatever you want to call it, reset, class release, is kind of poorly received and is burning out people because a lot of things are worse. I wonder how much of a big boon that's going to be to last Epoch.
Everyone is running the same.
Because remember, their games, and they are in competition at the end of the day. So, Path of Exile 2 doing worse and making people quit the league fast is like a huge, huge boon for last Epoch. It is. It always is. Never make that mistake of thinking it's not.
3 builds, basically, for the next 3 months. I know a lot of people don't like nerfs. Now, I've consistently, over the years, across multiple games, been in favor of buffing and nerfing, both. But I'm especially in favor of nerfing during an early access game. If they're not allowed, if the devs are not allowed to balance the game before it even launches, when are they going to be able to balance the game? But I get it, and a lot of people don't like that. And in that case, if you don't want to experience the ups and downs of early access, you can just wait for the...
Now, this is not really going to change when the game fully launches, by the way. Make no mistake, early access is the full launch of the game. Now, I know Path of Exile 2 looks not actually the full launch of the game, but trust me, it is. It is. It's just meant to create drum up hype because it's not really seasons, the big event launches, but the other classes, which are like mini expansions. But again, in the modern day, there is no such thing as an alpha, beta, or whatever state of the game, okay? If it's available for you to play in public, it's the full launch of the game. There are literally no exceptions to this rule, ever.
Full release and play the polished and balanced game. Now, we've heard from the devs that they want to slow down the pace of the game. That was a big thing with PoE 2, and then in the end game, things got fast again.
Yep.
They want to slow things down again.
Yep.
And they've also mentioned that they want to put a focus on combo-based gameplay, where you have a skill rotation that actually matters, that you're not just spamming one attack over and over.
Yeah, that's what Diablo 4 said, and then they reduced all cooldowns to 0 and said, fuck this.
Over that, maybe require some setup and payoff as part of this combo, and that's all well and good in theory.
I like
A
that.
lot of people are seeking a more methodical gameplay experience. Unfortunately, it feels that while we're playing PoE 2, the monsters are still playing PoE 1. It's very difficult to engage with deep combo-based gameplay when a million monsters are running at you like they're hyped up on espresso, and
I mean, that's kind of that's a skill issue a lot of the times. Sometimes it's not, because, make no mistake, PoE 2 doesn't really have that. It has some really good boss design, but a lot of bosses are just, you don't really know what actual mechanic they want to do. It's not clear at all, is it an AoE or not, and things like that.
bodying you before you can get a combo off. Plus, they nerfed our resistance to ailments, so we're getting frozen, stunned, shocked more easily.
Stunned is bad.
And the reason for doing this seems to be in an effort to make charms feel more useful. But damn, I'd rather see charms just reworked entirely than get crowd controlled more. Now, launch day for the patch was pretty rough. Players were experiencing performance issues with the new patch that they weren't experiencing earlier in the week. If you're still experiencing these issues, I don't know if they're going to be fixed by the time this video goes live, but disabling NVIDIA Reflex or even swapping to the Vulkan renderer helped a lot of people have more stable frame rates. But there's also a ton of crashes. I'm sure anyone who played on Friday ran into the unknown object type serialized by server error that crashed your game at least once, if not multiple times. And this crash seemed to happen mostly or always in town. My theory here is that there's some cosmetic or some assets, whether it's a shop cosmetic or whether it's just an actual like skin on a regular item, something that is loading that causes this crash. So in town, that's when you're exposed to other random players.
Oh, he did it. He did the combo. He blocked.
Party, just any random player can pop into the instance. So I think once someone pops in with this infringing cosmetic, it causes your game to crash, or anyone in that instance causes their game to crash. And then if you try to load back into the game right away, well, you're still in the same instance, that dude's still in the same instance, you crash again. And you either have to wait or for him to leave or for you to end up in a different instance where you're not going to crash. Just a theory. I've even seen some people report that they think their character is bricked entirely. Either they equipped an item or a cosmetic or something, and then they could just never load back into the game at all. I do expect this is something that GGG will fix relatively soon, as it is a pretty serious error. Now, crashes aside, from my own experience with Dawn of the Hunt, I'm really liking the Huntress. I love...
Damn, listen. If you don't like the Hunters, we cannot be friends, okay? It is what it is, boys. Spears are amazing. 10 out of 10. No excuses.
That I get to play as a Lightning Javazon as of low level. I was concerned about the parry gameplay. I'm actually taking to it quite well as someone who completely fails at parrying in literally every other game I play. I'm even learning to pull off some combos, and they feel satisfying when I do pull them off. But what do you...
You know what was my favorite point of playing Path of Exile and Path of Exile 1? It was before cast on crit spectral toss throw, whatever that skill is called. Discharge was a thing. Before that was my favorite time, because you could discharge is also one of my favorite skills in Path of Exile, and I liked it when you actually tried to get discharge stacks. If you use discharge, it was not automatic and shit. That kind of methodical gameplay, I like it.
What do you folks think? Are you loving the new PoE 2 changes, or did GGG go too far with the nerf hammer? Sound off in the comments. Oh, and a reminder, update your loot filters, folks. Either filterblade.xyz or poe2filter.com. Also, if you want some help going through the campaign, poe2acts.com has a nice little checklist to go through. Moving on to some Nintendo news now. The Nintendo Switch 2 has
Oh yeah, the tax on the Nintendo stuff. Literally, no one cares. There's a little bit of Diablo news. Anyone want to laugh? I do.
In the comments. On to some Diablo news. Diablo 3 will be available on Game Pass as of April 8th, joining Diablo 4.
Diablo 3? By the way, fun fact, Diablo 3 at the start, on the launch, was like PoE 2. Slightly different, but kinda like-ish, PoE 2 at least. And yeah, it did not take them too long to just give up and go zoom zoom.
Which has been there for a year now. All it's missing is Diablo 2 Resurrected. I expect within the next year we'll probably see that as well. Oh, Heroes of the Storm is also available on Games Pass as of this week. It happened.
Isn't it free anyway?
I think it was announced on April 1st because I thought it was an April Fool's joke since the game is free. Why does it have to come to Game Pass? But I guess they're doing it to.
I mean, if you own a Game Pass subscription, yeah, then might as well you sell all of the existing free games because, well, you bought a Game Pass, buddy.
Promote the game in front of a new audience, which raises the question, are we going to see a
Why?
revival of Heroes of the Storm? Now, speaking of April
No.
Fools, Wowhead actually brought us a parody Diablo 4 expansion titled Receptacle of Dislike, featuring the all-new Paladont class and the very cursed Hectides. Now, we've also been getting in Diablo 4 multiple reports of a weird bug that is basically a hardcore player's nightmare. People have been dying in town at the Tree of Whispers.
Good. They deserve it.
Some people while AFK.
Listen, that's not, by the way, just for Diablo 4 players. That's for anyone who plays any Blizzard game in hardcore, okay? You're just waiting until the servers kill you. Even if you play perfectly, you're just, on average, 1 month away from the servers killing you. Because Blizzard.
Okay, they, go prepare some food, come back, and they're dead near their stash or at the blacksmith or something. But I've actually seen footage, not just anecdotes. I've seen someone capture footage of themselves dying by their stash at the Tree of Whispers. And for the life of me, I cannot explain it. Nothing is happening on screen that would suggest or indicate anything that could possibly kill the character. I am befuddled. You know what?
No one cares at the end of the day, Riker. Anyway, that was 10 out of 10. That was Riker. Bye-bye.